After 20 years, LEGO Star Wars fans can finally rejoice because we have a new LEGO Star Wars TIE Bomber. Set number 75347 with 625 pieces retails for just $65. The set does include 4 minifigs, which we'll take a closer look at momentarily. The box art has the TIE Bomber front and center looking amazing as ever, and the background for the art is almost certainly an asteroid from Empire Strikes Back, yet this set does adorn the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary logo. Technically, the TIE Bomber was in Return of the Jedi for all of 2 seconds. I did almost forget to show you all the back of the box. It's in the hanger, just like in Return of the Jedi. Anyway, inside of the box, we got our numbered bags and an instruction manual with a bad render. A rather odd combination of sets advertised in the back of the manual, but let's build this and take a look at those awesome figures. The first figure in the set is the least exciting. It's the TIE Bomber pilot. In my eyes, no different than really any other TIE pilot you may have from the last decade of LEGO Star Wars, so this is not a reason to go out and buy the set. However, it was definitely necessary to include in the set to pilot the TIE Bomber. Underneath that helmet, you'll find a flesh head with a stern facial expression. The Darth Vader figure in this set is amazing. They bring the arm print to this set at $65. We've seen more expensive sets released in the last couple years that didn't have an arm print on their Darth Vader, but this one definitely nailing the look. It has the cloth cape, we've got the red lightsaber, and he's got the 2-piece helmet, which when you look underneath, you'll see a brand new facial expression for Darth Vader for Return of the Jedi. It's amazing. Vice Admiral Rae Sloane here is a great reason this set should not have been marked as a 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi set. However, she is an amazing figure. I am so glad that we get something unique here for LEGO Star Wars, something fresh into this set. She is, like I said, in her Vice Admiral outfit, so it's the gray outfit versus the white outfit, which I just think in general looks better for LEGO Star Wars minifigs. However, the reason she would be in the Vice Admiral outfit apparently is because this was her rank during Return of the Jedi, so at least it seems like they got that right. No second facial expression is a little disappointing though. Hands down, the best character in the set, though, is the Imperial Gonk Droid, and yes, that is the Imperial logo printed onto the side. It's amazing. Beautiful Gonk Droid here, and they use that Imperial crate piece that they've been using for the past couple of years to achieve that. It's a really wonderful part usage, and you can even take the piece off of the crate and use it for storage. So theoretically, you could give your Gonk Droid a brain, and then maybe you could learn some more words. The only other thing in this set that isn't a TIE Bomber is this small Imperial transport cart. It has 2 bombs on the back, extra for the TIE Bomber, giving you 6 total. As we'll see, there's 4 more in the bomber. You got some inverted tiles on the bottom, making movement smooth, and you have space for exactly 1 minifigure to pilot the thing. Yeah, it's nice, but it is really small. The bomber's build was easy, and the finished model is just gorgeous. However, it's just not as large as I expected when stacked up next to the 2021 model, and it's certainly dwarfed by the 2018 TIE Fighter. Look, I don't think the size of it's bad, but definitely when put in comparison, it doesn't feel great. I'll start with what I think pops out to most people upon first glance, and that is the cockpit of this TIE Bomber. It uses a smaller windshield piece than we have ever seen on a TIE Fighter, but for good reason. In universe, the TIE Bomber does have a pretty thick bezel around the windscreen, and so that is accurately represented here in the LEGO set. What is unfortunate about the way they did this essentially is you can't actually see through here. It's actually just bricks there, and it's completely solid. You can see the studs through there, and I could actually just pull this. Oh, maybe you can't. Oh, that is a hard piece to get off. Apparently, that's the strongest connection in all of LEGO, but this is all it is. It's not actually see-through, and that's fine. I don't care. I display my models. It doesn't matter to me whether or not the minifig can see through this theoretically for play or whatever. But if that irks you, it irks you. Unfortunately, with the way this is designed, there is not much you can do. Now, when it comes to placing a pilot inside the cockpit, it's a pretty straightforward process. You lift it up, and you slide him in. There are no studs in there. He just kind of slides in and sits loosely in there. You can see there are a couple of printed control panels just on 1x1 tiles, but that is about all the detail you're going to see inside of the cockpit, because it's one of the tightest, if not the tightest cockpits ever on a LEGO minifigure scale TIE Fighter. So close that up, and like I said, can't see him through there. Small side note, the area right above the cockpit here is not a little hidden compartment to place your TIE pilot's weapon. It gets stuck in there, and it doesn't come out until you rip it off and then remove it. So yeah, that's not a hidden compartment, even though it definitely looks like it would be one. Before we talk about the other great features, I want to talk about the wing design on this thing, which I think is just wonderful. They've struck a really good balance of black, gray, and dark gray, much better than the black and blue of 2003. They've included this circular printed piece that we've seen in other TIE fighters in the past, and you'll notice that the black tiles are definitely catching fingerprints. It's something that I really wish had a fix for LEGO, but ultimately it's like the glass on your iPhone. No matter what you do, you're gonna get fingerprints on there, and it's unfortunate, but that's reality. The connection between the wings and the main body is very strong. However, it is not perfect. You can still get the things to pull out or fall apart. You can see the inside of it there. It uses this new piece that they introduced, I think, with that 2021 TIE Fighter. Beautiful there with 3 Technic pins completing that connection. Very strong. And then you can see they just used the smooth hinges for the top and bottom parts of the wings that are stopped just by those pieces there. So they all get a really nice angle. But yeah, the wings on this are beautiful. As with most LEGO Star Wars playsets, there is that one little play function that takes away from the beauty of the ship, and in this case, it's the stud shooters. By pushing on the gray pieces here, you'll shoot off these green tiles, and they work very well. It's the newer designed stud shooter that also just aesthetically looks a bit more pleasing, so it's not all negatives for the looks of the thing, but definitely for those into modifying their LEGO Star Wars ships, they'll probably take this off and just tile up the top. Now, the right section is the ordnance pod, and for a pretty good reason. That's where the bombs are. It was a little disappointing for me to find out that the missile port on the front actually didn't shoot a missile in this set. The 2003 TIE Bomber had a missile function there, and this one doesn't. But they still represent it very well, just unfortunately, unless they created an entirely new piece here, like you don't have the ability to have a missile fire through something like that. I do really love the printed details on this piece, though. It's just excellent to see them go the extra mile on something like this. Looking at it from the top down is probably the worst angle of the set, as you can see the exposed area where the bombs need to be pushed to drop. It's unfortunate that they didn't top this off with something, or there was no better way to work it in. I understand, we're working with a small space here, but I would have loved something to be able to top this off. Again, it's something you can come in if you want to modify your sets and just close that off and get rid of the bombing functionality, but to have that bombing functionality in the playset, you have to have something that doesn't look quite as good as it would have otherwise. But all you have to do to drop the bombs is push down on them. You can either push down on them one at a time, which can be a bit tough. As you can see, I kind of have to work around the others, or you can push them all 4 at a time and they'll all drop at once, and it's pretty epic. And there is what it looks like when it's empty. On the bottom of the bomber here, we have the targeting sensor and the bombing chute, obviously not functional in this set, and there's the bottom side of where the bombs are placed in. All you have to do is push them in until they click in. They are literally flick-fire missiles from the good old days. However, you don't flick them, obviously, as I showed. You just push down on them and it works just fine. I suppose you could try to flick them if you wanted to. It just seems like it would be painful. The back of the bomber is another great example of LEGO Star Wars designers at their best. This is amazingly aesthetically pleasing for the back of a ship that I'll probably never look at, but dang, this thing is sleek. And something I didn't really get into is just the tubular shape of both of the pods here. They do a great job rounding it off with tiled pieces, so you don't see that many studs. Really, they got their stud fill in on the wings, and then they were able to go like super tiled on the middle section of the ship, which I think turned out really nicely here. This TIE Bomber was absolutely worth the 20-year wait. It delivers on all fronts. Display, play, minifigures, value, basically everything you can ask for in a LEGO Star Wars set like this. It's here. I totally believe it's worth that $65 asking price, although it's also the sort of set that if you give it a little time, it'll be on sale. Let me know what you think of the 2023 TIE Bomber in the comments below, and you can check out more 2023 set reviews on the end screen now.